So for me, after graduating, getting my bachelor degree, I didn't want to work, go back to school anymore. I just want to work. I want to make money. But my parents kept telling me to go get an MBA, PhD, and that was not something I wanted to do. And it was a big struggle that I had to fight them off, and also be in the trenches, right?
Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by my man, Audley Stevenson, the Odd Man. He'll unpack wisdom and insights from a cross-section of top quality performers in business, media, sports, entertainment, and lifestyle to uncover key elements to help you live your best audacious life ever. So without further ado, here is the Odd Man.
Greetings and salutations, folks. It's Audley Stevenson back for another edition of the most audacious podcast the internet has to offer. You've got a lock to the Audacious Living Podcast, and I appreciate you for being here as we continue our ongoing goal of helping our listeners live their best audacious lives ever. As always, I encourage you to check us out on our social media channels. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the handle The Audacious Pod, or if you're watching on our YouTube channel, all you gotta do is tap that bell down below, ding, 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 and you are connected to all great things audacious related. Now, the age-old question of what do you want to do when you grow up is one that many young people today find it difficult to answer. It certainly isn't an easy question, and there are adults who actually struggle with this as well. To make it even more challenging, we have our parents who often add their own form of pressure by putting in their 2 cents. Jim Lee knows this feeling all too well, as he was faced with making this very difficult decision, and before he actually decided on launching a career in real estate. It's been a great move for him. He's never looked back since, and he really has a wonderful story that I think you'll all appreciate. So let's check out my conversation with Jim Lee right here on the Audacious Living Podcast. Hey, Jim, thank you for joining me here on the Audacious Living Podcast. Thanks so much for making the time and doing this.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, we spend so much time here talking about the spirit of audaciousness and all the great things that we can go out in the world and do and experience and learn, and by doing that we're able to impact others positively. And so we encourage and we promote that as much as we possibly can. And so looking a little bit at your background as an investor, a little bit of world traveler, if you will, I'd imagine that you've had your fair share of audacious moments. I want to sort of talk about maybe the work you do as a starting point and give our listeners understanding of who Jim Lee is all about.
Sure. So I graduated with a bachelor's science degree of economics from UCLA back in 2010. And that was right after the 2008 subprime mortgage crash, plus the 2010 European debt crisis. So it was really difficult for me to find a job. Was jobless actually for a year and a half, and got really good at selling myself by going through a bunch of interviews. Eventually I found inside sales, which is a really good fit for me because I'm an introvert. I like to just stay in the office, make dials. I can do that all day long. And that was what kind of propelled my career, because by starting my career at LoopNet, which for those that don't know, it's basically Zillow for commercial real estate. And I was able to speak to real estate investors, property managers, agents on a daily basis. So I kind of learned the importance of having multiple stream of income. And so from there, I decided to purchase my first 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo. Got a taste of that passive income, was hooked, and I decided to pursue being a realtor, and eventually transitioned to become a syndicator from there. So never looked back since the first job.
And so it sounds like you sort of stumbled by accident. Really, is that fair to say?
Yeah, you can say by accident, but it definitely took some work. Over the, like I said, I was jobless for a year and a half, and at that time, all my parents wanted me to do, because coming from an Asian background culture, we're raised to, get higher education and,
Sure.
so for me, after graduating, getting my bachelor degree, I didn't want to work, go back to school anymore. I just want to work. I want to make money. But my parents kept telling me to go get an MBA, PhD, and that was not something I wanted to do. And it was a big struggle that I had to fight them off, and also also be in the trenches, right? Because you're trying to dig yourself out of the hole and all that, I guess, recession that we were going through. So it was definitely something I had to overcome.
I certainly give you credit for fighting back the way you did, because look, we're all influenced by our parents, and our parents know what's best for us and want what's best for us, and for them to push a certain direction. You say fighting out. I would imagine it was a real battle back then.
Oh yeah, definitely, because I did live with them, and that's part of the reason, right? I was still being treated as a kid, and I think that I wasn't showing them, I wasn't proving that I can hold on my own. So eventually I kicked myself out of the house to take my life more serious. So living where I had no income, but I had to figure out a way to survive. And that's when you're putting that kind of environment, when you put yourself in that kind of environment, you kind of just are able to take things a lot more serious and be more urgent about pursuing what it is you need to do to get the job done.
Got you. So you start on this real estate journey. You're a realtor now. You're buying, you're selling, you're flipping, you're doing all the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. What happens next for you?
So once I became a realtor, I wanted to just be able to find my own deal, and also make a career out of it, right? Because I wanted to transition from being a W-2 employee to being an entrepreneur. And that didn't work out too well for me the first 2 years, because I found that I wasn't a good fit for me. And then eventually lockdown happened. That's when I kind of started to educate myself some more about, to kind of explore different opportunities of making money through real estate. And so that's how I came across syndication. And I've been doing it for the past 2 years on real estate syndication.
And so just for those who aren't familiar with what real estate syndication is, can you give us a quick and dirty explanation?
Absolutely. It's a partnership between investors who pool their resources into one single investment. This allows you to invest in multi-million-dollar investments, such as multifamily, which is the asset class I'm involved, or any commercial real estate, really. And syndication eliminates much of the risk while sharing the upside. The property generates an income and it gets split amongst all the investors. So it's a win-win situation for both the investor and the operator.
I'm imagining they're quite popular, syndication. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's a niche, but it's because resources are everywhere nowadays. You can get anything on internet. It's becoming more and more exposed, and everybody's beginning to find out what it is. But I think syndication has always been around. If you look at motion picture, for example, like in order to shoot a movie, you need to raise millions, tens of millions of dollars. You need partnerships, you need actors, and you need equipments, tools, and so forth. You need a whole team, right? And that's exactly what a syndication is. It's real estate development. That's also syndication, right? There's certain things that you just can't do it alone. I mean,
yes,
and then real estate syndication you can, but it would take you too long, too much time.
Got you. Is there anything real estate investing has taught you about life?
Yeah, certainly. I think one thing that taught me is the importance of taking other people's money. When you use other people's money, you have to be even more cautious with your own money. Right. With, if I invest my own money, I can, it's in my own control. And I know my own risk tolerance. I know how much I'm willing to lose. Right. If I put that money there, I can tell myself, okay, I'm okay with not seeing that money, but everybody's risk tolerance is different. And so not only that, when you're getting someone else's money and to make it, now that you're responsible for it, you have to be even more alert and more cautious of how you're doing things and how you communicate, and just be as transparent as you can be as well.
So much on this podcast we talk about risk. You just talk about risk, being risk tolerance. We talk so much the importance of taking risks and being bold, and why you've got to take that first step, because it leads to all sorts of great things. I'm just wondering if you can reflect on that, that very first big sort of real estate investment or purchase that you made, and what you were feeling like going into that. What was that like? Do you remember?
Yeah. Yes. My first purchase was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo.
Yeah.
And I actually bought this deal with all cash offer.
Okay.
A little background on that, and you're probably, scratching your head like, what are you doing? So I was born and raised in Taiwan with the savers mentality. So in Asian culture, we've been taught if you can't pay for something in cash, you can't afford it. In our mind, debt is slavery and cash is freedom.
Gotcha.
So that's why I ended up buying it all cash, and that was the biggest mistake I made, because first, my money's stuck in there. That was during the time I didn't have a job. I couldn't refinance. I couldn't get line of credit. Second, after buying this condo, that's when I decided to educate myself, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know. And I need to, now that I acquired this building, I had to take this more serious, right? So I picked up the purple Bible that most people read, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Mm-hmm.
And in the book, he talks about leverage. Why would you not use debt? Debt is the ultimate tool that you can use to amplify your returns, to get tax advantages, and that was a bit of a mindset shift for me, and that's, which is great, because now moving forward, I know how to use good debt and versus bad debt. Good debt is the ones that you can leverage to help you make more money. The bad debt is credit card bills. You got to just stay away from that and pay that off as soon as possible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I asked about that fear because oftentimes, or that first purchase, if you will, because oftentimes, there's an element of fear or trepidation or some hesitation involved. And once we're able to sort of look past that, right, and recognize, yes, I'm not sure. Yes, I don't know what that first was, what's behind the corner. I don't know what that first step looks like, but I'm going to take that step anyways. And oftentimes, it's on the other side of that where kind of all the great stuff happens. So that's why I was wondering if for you, like you made that first purchase, where did that go? What happened with it? What did it lead to?
Yeah, so it led to just being able to learn the importance of having a passive income, right? And also, I think what differentiate for me personally, what I've learned is, do I want to be more actively involved in investing or passively involved, right? Well, not passively involved, but passive. Should I be more of a passive investor? Because with this first deal, I did everything all by myself, running this whole property from A to Z, right? Like I found the tenant, I ran the background check, and I collected the rent, and did all the maintenance, all that stuff. But then I realized I'm way too active involved with it, because I'm still working on my W-2 job. So that was another thing that I had to kind of overcome, to learn that, okay, I need to build a system. I didn't automate this so that it doesn't take too much of my time. And eventually I guess that answers your question, because eventually that kind of led me to think, okay, if I want to build a bigger real estate portfolio, then how can I systematize this whole thing and make it and scale bigger? And that's when I started studying syndication, because you go bigger by raising capital, using other people's money, and through partnership, you're able to do bigger deals.
Gotcha. It just seems that it creates so many opportunities for you, right? And that's what you want to take advantage of. Talk about Formosa. What's that all about?
So Formosa is a name given by the Portuguese when they discovered the island Taiwan. So Taiwan is where I'm from. Before the island was even named Taiwan, Portuguese called it Formosa, which it means the beautiful island. And ever since that, then Taiwanese took that as something that we're proud of. And as soon as the Taiwanese person sees my logo, they automatically recognize that. So that's my brand, that's my niche.
And so the company it's an investment firm that you've started called Formosa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's also in the real estate area, or is it branching out, or what's it different? How is it different?
So it's called Formosa Investing, and what we do is we help you source out deals, find real estate syndication opportunities, and our mission is to educate and bring value in the form of syndication, because in my opinion, it's the safest and fastest track to reach the reality of financial freedom. And our vision, my vision is just making sure that everyone who's part of Formosa Investing will improve their financial life tenfold so they can focus on reaching their dreams and not their next paycheck.
Right. It gives you something different to focus on, right? Really.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So you have a lot on your plate there, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just just like any entrepreneur, trying to take it day by day and see how I can continue to move the needle and continue to build and make the system and make things more efficient.
Is there a goal that you're trying to reach to through Formosa?
The goal is to help as many people as I can. The part of the reason why I got into syndication is to help build wealth and help achieve financial freedom for everyone who's involved, starting with family and then friends and then employees and then so forth. So whoever wants to learn, and that's what I'm here for. I want to be able to educate, be able to pass this information along to everybody who's listening and if as much as I can help. And that's also why I wrote an ebook, and to educate my audience as well.
Nice. So again, I didn't realize you had the book, but that's again so much on your plate. You got lots going on.
Yeah, just trying to stay busy, trying to put myself out there.
I know you're definitely doing that, Jim. It really is, and I love the way that it's a constant movement, right? Like it's like, okay, almost like that. What's next, right? And you're hunting and searching and looking for that next one, and so clearly you're doing that.
Yeah, and again, I'm doing it from all fronts, and coming from an inside sales background, I used to just stay in the office, make my dials, collect credit cards over the phone, but now, I'm constantly putting myself out there, creating my own community where, investors can get together to network with each other, educate and talk about real estate, go out to Florida, Texas, flying out there to network with other like-minded people. And besides just, doing this podcast and writing newsletters and ebooks.
So I think when I look at your overall work and I look at what you're doing, the energy with it is awesome, right? It really, that non-stop mentality, attitude, which is so great. If there was someone that was looking to get into the industry or get into real estate investing, what I don't know, what 2 or 3 top things would you tell them that you got to do this?
Good question. So I think if for people that want to start in this industry, is definitely to educate yourself. That's the most important part. And I think resources are everywhere nowadays. If you don't like to read, you can listen to podcasts. If you don't like listening to podcasts, you can go on YouTube, look at some clips and you can educate yourself in any way. Besides that, just going back to what I said earlier, put yourself out there. When you go out to network with like-minded people, they're more serious about it, right? And if you don't think that's enough for you, well, put some money, invest in yourself, join a mastermind group, right? Once you join a mastermind group, you'll realize, oh wow, like there's so much I can learn off of each these people that's also within the group, because they also pay a substantial amount of money to be in there, so those people are serious. Right. So I think that's a way of getting yourself ahead, pushing forward.
Yes, for sure. I was talking to someone the other day, and we were sort of talking about the hills and valleys of life, right? Life has ups and downs, and you think of sort of the real estate industry is kind of like that as well too, right? And so the point I was making is that so when you're at the top of the hill is where you celebrate and you rejoice because things are great, but recognizing that they kind of will come down, kind of like interest rates, right? Like they'll come down, and sometimes, or in this case, they'll go up. And when interest rates go up, then it's not great. And so the valley isn't the great place to be, but then you want to go up back to the top of the hill. I guess again, it's a silly analogy, but I mean, with respects to how it frames in the real estate investing world, how important is it to sort of keep sort of level-headed and keep calm and understanding that what's happening in the moment is just for the moment and not throw the baby with the bathwater or water kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I think it's easier for me as a real estate investor to keep my composure, because we're playing it's a get rich slow scheme, or slow game that we're playing here.
Yep.
Yeah, so for all those real estate investors, they know what I'm talking about. And same thing with syndication. When we buy a commercial real estate, a multifamily, our business plan is to keep it for 5 years. So your money's stuck in there for 5 years until we're able to sell it and 2x your money back, right?
Yes,
so it is a get rich slow scheme. And so, when you talk about volatility, I've invested in crypto, Bitcoin and stock market, and that's what you're referring to. And that's part of the reason why I got out of it, because it's out of my control, right? It depends on the market situation. Yes. It depends on the politics. It depends on, what the CEO, if they decide to step down or, change of CEO. So there's a lot of factors, and that's out of your control. Whereas real estate, I have more control over it. And that's why I decided to move my investment more towards the real estate side of spectrum.
So what's next, Jim? I mean, you've done a lot already. You've gotten through a lot. What's next on the horizon for you?
So what I'm trying to focus on is that as a syndicator, there's two pieces of the component, right? There's the raising capital side, and then there's being the operator, the people who finds deal, underwrites deal, manages the deal, and sells the deal, right? So what I'm trying to accomplish is be able to raise as much capital as I can, to the point where I have more capital than deal flow. And then from there, hopefully I'll be able to establish more connection, build great relationships over time with people, and I'll be able to become an operator myself.
Nice. Well, it's a great goal, and I think something that's well within reach for you. You're on the path, Jim. There's no doubt about that, for sure.
Thanks. That's very encouraging words.
Good. For individuals that want to catch up with you or learn more about your work, where could we send them?
They can check me out on formosainvesting.com. I wrote a short 20 pages ebook that talks about all the mistakes I've made as a real estate investor. So, so you don't make them. And they can also check me out on any social media links on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at Formosa Investing.
We will make sure that we share those appropriate links in the show notes so people have them and they can connect with you directly. Jim, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and all the best, my friend.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Back we are here on the podcast, and much appreciation and thanks goes out to Jim for being here and sharing his awesome story and his launching in the real estate industry. Despite what his parents thought, he went on and did his thing. So congratulations, Jim. I appreciated so much of what he had to share, but if there's one thing I take from the chat I had with Jim, it would have to be this. From a young age, we're taught to respect and value our parents' opinions. However, when it comes to choosing our career paths, it's crucial to remember that our lives are our own, and we deserve to pursue the passions and dreams that belong to us. While it may be difficult to go against our parents' wishes, it's essential to follow our hearts and carve out our unique path. Here's 3 reasons why it's so important for us to choose a career path, even if it contradicts our parents' desires. While our parents' guidance is valuable, our genuine source of motivation and drive often stems from pursuing what truly inspires us. By following our passions, we are more likely to enjoy our work and find a deep sense of satisfaction and purpose in our chosen field. A career is not a temporary job. It's a lifelong commitment. So it's vital to choose a path that aligns with our own interests and aspirations, despite the well-intended concerns of others. We're the ones who will spend the most of our time and our energy in our chosen careers. Hence, it's crucial to have the courage to make our own life choices. And then lastly, choosing our own career path provides an opportunity for personal growth, enabling us to explore our interests, skills, and aspirations. Each person has a unique blend of talents and ambitions, And it is by pursuing our passion that we uncover who we truly are and what we're capable of achieving. In a world where societal pressures and familial expectations often dictate our actions, it's crucial to remember that our happiness and fulfillment depend on choosing our own career path. While defying our parents' wishes may be difficult, it's essential to prioritize our own dreams and aspirations. Embracing our individuality allows us to embark on a journey that aligns with our authentic selves, leading us to a fulfilling and meaningful professional life. So remember, if it is your life to live and to shape, so take the reins and brave and forge your own audacious path. We've come to the end of another edition of the most audacious podcast the internet has to offer. And as always, I send my thanks and appreciation to all those lovers of Audaciousness. Thank you for being with us on this journey. Your support is very, very much appreciated. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, show love to one another, and be audacious.
You've been listening to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by Audley Stevenson. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be audacious.